Hey folks, welcome to another Triple T Thursday. For those just joining us, that's tools, tips, and talk. We'll talk about info for the knife maker. On today's episode, I'm going to modify something on my grinder just to help things out. What I'm going to add is a spark arrestor. So we're going to go through that, how that was made. And then we're going to go over some viewer knives. Well, one viewer knife in particular, so stay tuned, check that out. Let's get right into it.
Alright, so here's the project for this week. Here's my Broadbeck grinder, which I love, one of my favorite pieces of equipment. But the one thing that it doesn't have that my old homemade one has, was a little spark shield. So that's what I'm going to add right now, is just a little spark shield to just wrap around the wheel here. Because what I find is the sparks are going around the belt, they're whipping back here, and sometimes they're hitting me in the face. And I think I would get the majority of them if I just put a little shield right here. So that's what I'm going to do today, and have you guys come along. What I'm going to do is, I don't have any angle iron, but I've got something equivalent. I'm just going to, there's a bolt down here and this bolt. I'm going to pull these bolts out, put a thin piece that just goes up and over, and then just weld another piece of sheet of steel around this, just to give it a bit of a cover. All right, let's get to it. So I don't have any thin-walled angle iron, but I've got this piece of square tube, and it's 1/8 inch thick, so this is what I'm going to use. I'll use my new Wen saw and cut a piece of this off, and then just slice each corner, and I should have what I need without spending any money. This doesn't need to be perfect. There, that's about what I want. The tricky part is going to be lining up the holes to these. So I think I'll put one on. Yeah. Okay, all done. Let's see if it's still, yeah, no problem with it going horizontal. Let's give it a shot. I think all I've created is a little ramp because the sparks just slide and come all the way up. I'm going to try bending this so that there's a little lip here so that they don't just fly off the edge. Let's give that a shot. Okay, I got it back on there. I pushed this down pretty much right against the belt here, almost. It's about 1/8 of an inch above the belt. So let's see how it works. Well, that's pretty good. Probably stopped 80% of them, which is more than enough. I'm also not getting them back here on my wrench set and all back here, which was kind of annoying. So happy with that upgrade.
So I'm pretty happy with this modification. I think it turned out really well. Stops good 80% of the sparks, so that's what I wanted. I made some comments in forums. I've seen the OBM, the Origin Blade Maker grinder, that has all of these things kind of built in. There's one over this, there's one over this, which is fine. I'm not a fan of that grinder personally, but it has these same shields over these, which I've commented in forums that I think that is the stupidest idea. Because of course you want to be able to use these wheels to grind. And especially on this grinder that flips horizontal and these things wrap right around this, it's a terrible design. It's like a design not made by knife makers for knife makers. Obviously they made that grinder, I don't know, not with knife makers in mind. So not a fan. That'd be the first thing to come off in my opinion. But the ones up here and over here, of course, obviously, because I added one. So I also thought I would give you a little preview of the Damascus Bowie, the Mosaic Damascus Bowie that I'm working on. This one is fresh out of heat treat. You can kind of see the pattern on there, so I'm pretty happy with that one. I think it looks really, really good. And it's perfectly straight, and it's just turning out really well. I'm happy with how it's going, so stay tuned for that one this weekend. So let's talk about the viewer knife for today. The viewer knife today is from Bill Thorne. And really impressed with this knife. I'll put a picture of it up here and enlarge it in a second. Really beautiful knife. I like the pattern. In fact, the pattern is kind of close to what I'm doing on the Bowie knife. So stay tuned for that one. So check this knife out. Bill also has a YouTube channel, which I just discovered, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. So go check Bill out and check out this knife. I think it looks really nice. Remember, if you have a viewer knife and you want to see it here on Triple T, send it to me. It's the channel name @gmail.com, and maybe you'll see your viewer knife here. Thanks, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and join me on the next one.